Mini Settlers, developed by Night Owl Games, is a casual strategy and city-building simulation game that offers a lighthearted, accessible experience. Set in a charming, colorful world, the game invites players to build and manage their own tiny settlements, guiding a group of adorable settlers as they gather resources, construct buildings, and develop their community. One of the key features of Mini Settlers is its approachable gameplay. The mechanics are simple to grasp, making it perfect for players of all ages and experience levels. The game focuses on resource management, requiring players to balance the needs of their settlers while expanding their settlement. From gathering wood and stone to cultivating food and crafting items, every aspect of town life needs attention. The pacing is relaxed, allowing players to grow their village at their own pace without the intense pressure found in more complex strategy games. Visually, Mini Settlers stands out with its vibrant, cartoonish art style. The game's charming graphics are appealing, with tiny animated settlers bustling around, building homes, and working the land. The light-hearted design complements the casual nature of the gameplay, making the game feel cheerful and welcoming. The world feels alive, with a dynamic day-night cycle and weather effects adding to the immersive atmosphere. The settlers themselves are central to the game's appeal. Each character has their own personality traits and preferences, which adds a layer of depth to the otherwise simple mechanics. Keeping settlers happy and productive is key to growing your settlement, and you'll need to manage their needs, such as food, shelter, and entertainment, while ensuring the village runs smoothly. As the settlement expands, new buildings, upgrades, and technologies unlock, allowing for greater complexity and customization. One potential drawback is that the game's simplicity might not satisfy players looking for a deeper, more complex city-building experience. While the charm and ease of play are appealing, the game lacks the intricate systems found in more advanced strategy titles. However, for those looking for a relaxing, low-stress game that's easy to pick up and enjoy, Mini Settlers offers a delightful and engaging experience. In conclusion, Mini Settlers is a fun and accessible city-building game that shines with its charming visuals and easygoing gameplay. It's perfect for casual players or those looking for a break from more demanding strategy games, offering a whimsical, stress-free environment to build and explore. Reus 2 by Abby Games is the sequel to the original Reus, a unique god simulation game where players control powerful giants to shape a planet and foster the growth of human civilizations. Reus 2 builds on this concept, enhancing both the strategic depth and creative freedom of its predecessor while maintaining the core mechanics that made the original so appealing. In Reus 2, players once again assume the role of nature-controlling giants, each with unique abilities tied to specific biomes, forests, deserts, oceans, and mountains. The giants work together to terraform the planet, placing resources like plants, minerals, and animals to help human civilizations thrive. The balance between resources is key, as different combinations affect the development of cities, their prosperity, and the happiness of their inhabitants. A big part of the challenge comes from guiding human societies without allowing them to become greedy or aggressive, as overdevelopment can lead to conflict and destruction. The gameplay revolves around creating synergy between these resources. Each giant can upgrade or alter the world's ecosystems, encouraging the growth of different kinds of human settlements with unique needs and behaviors. Reus 2 introduces new giants, biomes, and resources, deepening the complexity of the ecosystems you can create. The new mechanics offer more variety in how players can shape civilizations, from influencing cultural developments to fostering specific societal advancements based on the resources provided. One of the standout improvements in Reus 2 is the enhanced AI for human civilizations. The societies are more dynamic and responsive, reacting not only to the resources they have, but also to each other. They can form alliances, trade, or even wage war, giving the player a greater sense of how their decisions ripple across the world. This makes managing the balance between prosperity and conflict more challenging, especially as societies grow and begin to compete for resources. While Reus 2 improves upon its predecessor in many ways, it still retains a slow, methodical pace that may not appeal to players looking for fast-paced action or immediate feedback. The learning curve can also be steep due to the complex resource combinations and long-term planning required to succeed, but for players who enjoy deep strategy and ecosystem management, this adds to the game's rewarding nature. Overall, Reus 2 is a worthy sequel that expands the creative and strategic possibilities of the original while adding more depth to its god simulation mechanics. With its thoughtful design, charming visuals, and challenging balance between creation and destruction, Reus 2 offers an engaging and relaxing experience for fans of the genre. News Tower is an engaging simulation game that puts players in charge of managing a bustling news organization. Developed by Pine Studio, the game combines elements of resource management, strategic decision-making, and a dash of humor to create a unique experience that captures the chaotic world of journalism. In News Tower, you start with a small office and a handful of reporters. Your goal is to grow your media empire by producing news articles, managing staff, and making critical decisions that affect your organization's reputation and profitability. The gameplay revolves around balancing the demands of your reporters, editors, and the audience, all while keeping an eye on your finances and resources. One of the standout features of the game is its dynamic storytelling. As you assign reporters to cover different events and stories, you'll encounter various scenarios that can lead to unexpected outcomes. The choices you make influence not only the articles produced, but also the public's perception of your news organization. This adds a layer of strategy, as players must navigate moral dilemmas and the ever-changing landscape of the media industry. Visually, News Tower boasts a charming and cartoonish art style that enhances the lighthearted tone of the game. The colorful graphics and lively animations make the newsroom feel vibrant and full of life, immersing players in the hectic atmosphere of a working media outlet. The humorous writing and quirky character designs add to the overall enjoyment, making it a delightful experience. The game also includes various challenges and events that keep gameplay fresh. From breaking news stories to dealing with scandals, players must adapt to the fast-paced nature of the industry. Balancing quality journalism with the need for profitability is a constant challenge, adding depth to the resource management aspect. While News Tower is entertaining, it does require some patience as players learn to juggle the multiple aspects of running a news organization. The learning curve can be steep, but the satisfaction of growing your media empire makes it worthwhile. Overall, News Tower is a fun and addictive simulation game that offers a humorous take on the world of journalism. With its engaging mechanics, dynamic storytelling, and charming visuals, it provides a captivating experience for players who enjoy management games and storytelling. Whether you're a fan of simulation titles or just looking for something fresh, News Tower delivers an entertaining and thought-provoking adventure in the news industry. Oddsparks. An automation adventure is a whimsical simulation game that combines elements of automation, resource management, and creativity. Developed by Keen Games, the game invites players to build and manage a vibrant world populated by quirky creatures known as Oddsparks, each with unique abilities and traits. One of the standout features is the diversity of Oddsparks. Each creature has its own special skills, allowing players to experiment with various combinations and strategies to maximize productivity. As you progress, you unlock new types of Oddsparks and technologies, adding layers of complexity to your automation efforts. This encourages creativity and problem-solving, as players must adapt their strategies based on the unique abilities of their team. Visually, Oddsparks is a feast for the eyes. The art style is colorful and playful, bringing the whimsical world to life. The character designs are charming, with each Oddspark exhibiting distinct personalities through their animations. The vibrant environments are richly detailed, creating an inviting atmosphere that enhances the overall experience. The game also features a light-hearted narrative that unfolds as you progress, adding context to your automation endeavors. The story is punctuated with humor and delightful interactions, making it engaging beyond the core mechanics. The soundtrack complements the cheerful visuals, creating a harmonious and enjoyable backdrop for gameplay. While Oddsparks offers a compelling experience, it does require some patience, especially as players delve into more complex automation setups. The learning curve can be steep, but for those who enjoy tinkering and experimenting, this is part of the fun. Overall, Oddsparks. An automation adventure is a delightful blend of creativity and strategy. With its charming characters, engaging mechanics, and beautiful art style, it provides a refreshing take on the automation genre. Whether you're a fan of simulation games or new to the genre, Oddsparks offers a whimsical adventure that encourages exploration and innovation. Of Life and Land is an immersive city building and resource management simulation that challenges players to build and sustain a thriving settlement in a dynamic, nature-driven environment. Developed with a focus on balance between human development and ecological harmony, the game offers a fresh take on the city-building genre, blending elements of strategy, survival, and environmental management. Set in a lush, procedurally generated landscape, Of Life and Land places players in charge of a small group of settlers who must carve out a living by harnessing the land's natural resources. The game emphasizes sustainability, requiring players to carefully manage resources like water, food, and materials while ensuring the long-term health of the environment. Unlike traditional city builders where growth is often the primary goal, Of Life and Land encourages players to think about the long-term consequences of over-extraction and environmental degradation. One of the game's core mechanics is its complex ecosystem. The environment reacts to player actions. Deforestation can lead to soil erosion, overfishing can deplete waterways, and pollution can affect the health of both the settlers and the surrounding wildlife. This delicate balance adds an extra layer of challenge to the typical city-building formula, as players must constantly weigh the immediate needs of their settlement against the long-term viability of the land. The progression system in Of Life and Land is rewarding, as it's not just about growing your settlement, but also developing a deep relationship with the natural world. As players advance, they unlock new technologies that help them live in harmony with nature, such as renewable energy sources and advanced farming techniques. This gradual progression feels organic and satisfying, as it mirrors the real-world challenges of balancing human advancement with environmental stewardship. While Of Life and Land shines in its unique approach to environmental management, its slower pacing may not appeal to everyone. The focus on long-term planning and sustainability requires patience as the consequences of your decisions unfold over time. However, for players who enjoy thoughtful strategy and the challenge of balancing human needs with nature, Of Life and Land offers a deeply rewarding experience. In summary, Of Life and Land is a beautifully crafted city-building game that stands out for its emphasis on sustainability and environmental impact. It's a game that challenges players to think beyond short-term growth, offering a unique and meditative take on the genre that will appeal to fans of both strategy and ecological simulation. The Universim by Creativo is an ambitious god simulation game that puts players in the role of an omnipotent deity tasked with guiding a civilization from its primitive beginnings to a futuristic society. Combining elements of city building, resource management, and sandbox-style gameplay, the game offers a unique experience that spans different eras of technological and social development. At the core of the Universim is the ability to interact with a living, breathing planet populated by nuggets, the game's charming inhabitants. Players oversee the development of these nuggets, helping them gather resources, build structures, and advance their society through the ages. Each nugget has distinct personalities and needs, adding a layer of complexity to managing the population, ensuring their happiness and survival, while maintaining balance with the environment is key to keeping the civilization thriving. One of the game's standout features is its planetary scope. Unlike typical city builders limited to a fixed map, the Universim takes place on a globe that rotates, complete with day-night cycles, seasons, and dynamic weather patterns. This gives the game a sense of scale and realism, as players must adapt to environmental changes that impact resource availability, agriculture, and overall survival. The ability to expand your civilization across multiple planets later in the game adds another layer of excitement and long-term strategy. While the Universim offers plenty of creative freedom, it also incorporates godlike powers that allow players to directly influence the world. From performing miracles, such as healing or summoning rain, to wreaking havoc with disasters like lightning strikes or tornadoes, these powers give players a sense of omnipotence while also providing meaningful gameplay choices. However, the Universim is not without its challenges. The game's pacing can feel slow at times, especially in the early stages of civilization development, and there are occasional AI issues where nuggets may act unpredictably. Additionally, while the game's ambition is commendable, some players may find the later stages of planetary colonization lacking the same depth as the early game's focus on nurturing a single civilization. Overall, the Universim is a visually stunning and enjoyable god sim that successfully blends city building with divine intervention. Its expansive planetary setting, combined with the freedom to shape civilization's fate, makes it a unique and rewarding experience for fans of the genre. While it has room for improvement in terms of pacing and AI, it offers a compelling journey through the rise of civilization and beyond. Shapez 2 is a highly engaging factory-building simulation game and a worthy successor to the original Shapez. Developed by Tobias Springer, the game takes the core mechanics of its predecessor, automating the production and processing of geometric shapes, and significantly expands on them. With its minimalist aesthetic and focus on puzzle solving, Shapez 2 offers a relaxing yet mentally stimulating experience, perfect for players who enjoy optimization and design challenges. The premise of Shapez 2 is straightforward. You construct factories that cut, rotate, combine, and color shapes to meet specific production goals. However, as the game progresses, these goals become increasingly complex, requiring players to construct more intricate and efficient production chains. The key challenge lies in balancing resources, optimizing layouts, and ensuring that every part of your factory runs smoothly without bottlenecks or inefficiencies. One of the biggest improvements in Shapez 2 is the introduction of a 3D environment. Unlike the original, where players worked on a flat plane, the sequel allows vertical building. This added dimension opens up new strategic possibilities, as you can now build layered factories that take full advantage of space. Managing conveyor belts, pipelines, and machines across multiple layers is both satisfying and challenging, adding a new layer of depth to factory design and resource management. Another significant improvement is the refined progression system. While the original game's objectives sometimes felt repetitive, Shapez 2 offers more variety in its tasks and the shapes you need to produce. The introduction of new mechanics, such as more advanced cutting and merging tools, helps keep the gameplay fresh as you unlock higher levels of complexity. The game does an excellent job of gradually ramping up the difficulty, making the player feel a genuine sense of accomplishment with each new puzzle solved. The interface and controls in Shapez 2 are clean and intuitive, much like the first game. The minimalist design makes it easy to focus on the challenge at hand without being overwhelmed by unnecessary details. Despite the increasingly complex production chains, the game never feels cluttered, thanks to the clarity of its visuals and the simplicity of its UI. This is particularly important as the 3D aspect adds more layers to manage, but the game handles it gracefully, ensuring that players can navigate their creations without frustration. Overall, Shapez 2 is a fantastic sequel that improves upon the original in nearly every way. Its blend of puzzle solving, automation, and creative freedom makes it a standout in the factory building genre. Whether you're a veteran of automation games or new to the genre, Shapez 2 offers an engaging, rewarding, and endlessly creative experience that's hard to put down. Tavern Keeper is a charming simulation game that invites players to run their own medieval tavern, blending resource management, strategic planning, and a touch of whimsy. Developed by Falling Sheep, The game allows you to create a cozy establishment that caters to adventurers, travelers, and locals, all while balancing the various demands of running a successful tavern. In Tavern Keeper, you start with a humble space that you can expand and customize to your liking. Players are tasked with managing resources, hiring staff, brewing drinks, and preparing food to satisfy a diverse array of patrons. The gameplay revolves around efficiently serving customers, ensuring their happiness, and keeping the tavern's reputation high. This involves not just crafting food and beverages, but also strategically managing your staff and handling the ebb and flow of customers. Players need to gather ingredients, maintain stock, and invest in upgrades to improve the quality of their offerings. The process of experimenting with different recipes and discovering new combinations adds a layer of depth and encourages creativity. Additionally, the interactions with various character types, from knights to wizards, bring a delightful narrative element to the game, making each visit to your tavern feel unique. The art style in Tavern Keeper is whimsical and colorful, perfectly capturing the lighthearted spirit of the game. The visuals are charming, with detailed animations that bring the tavern and its patrons to life. The sound design complements the experience, featuring a lively soundtrack that sets the mood for your bustling establishment. While Tavern Keeper shines in its core gameplay, it does have some pacing issues. The early stages can feel a bit slow as you build up your resources and customer base, which might deter players looking for immediate action. However, as you progress and unlock new features, the gameplay becomes more dynamic and engaging. Overall, Tavern Keeper is a delightful simulation game that successfully captures the joys and challenges of running a medieval tavern. With its charming art style, engaging resource management, and unique character interactions, it offers a cozy and enjoyable experience for players who appreciate strategy and creativity in their gameplay. Whether you're a fan of simulation games or just looking for a relaxing escape, Tavern Keeper provides a satisfying journey into the world of hospitality and fantasy. Planet Coaster 2 is the much-anticipated sequel to Frontier Development's acclaimed theme park simulation game, Planet Coaster. Building on the success of the original, this installment refines the core elements that made its predecessor a fan favorite, while introducing new features that elevate the park-building experience. At its heart, Planet Coaster 2 remains a sandbox simulation game where players create and manage their dream theme parks. The game's focus on creativity and customization is more robust than ever, allowing players to design intricate roller coasters, detailed park layouts, and immersive guest experiences. Whether you're crafting breathtaking rides or managing the park's day-to-day operations, the freedom to build is virtually limitless. One of the standout improvements is the enhanced coaster building system. Planet Coaster 2 introduces more advanced tools that give players greater control over track designs, offering smoother and more realistic ride experiences. The new physics engine also makes coaster interactions feel more dynamic and lifelike, with thrilling moments of airtime and realistic G-forces adding to the excitement. For enthusiasts who love tinkering with every twist and turn, the precision available here is unmatched. The management system has also been overhauled to add more depth without overwhelming players. Balancing guest happiness, park finances, and staff management is more nuanced than in the first game, but the interface remains intuitive. Players can dive into the minutiae of their park's operations or let certain aspects run on autopilot, giving them the flexibility to focus on what they enjoy most, whether it's financial strategy or creative design. One of the most exciting new additions is the expanded terrain manipulation tools, allowing players to craft more immersive environments with hills, rivers, caves, and more. This opens up endless possibilities for creating parks that are not just visually stunning, but also mechanically engaging, as terrain can now interact with rides and affect the overall park flow. For fans of community-driven content, Planet Coaster 2 integrates even deeper sharing features, letting players exchange custom rides, scenery, and entire parks with others seamlessly. This keeps the game's replayability high and provides endless inspiration from the creative fan base. Overall, Planet Coaster 2 is a brilliant evolution of the series. It retains the charm, creativity, and freedom of the original while adding new layers of depth, realism, and visual polish. Whether you're a dedicated park management expert or someone who just wants to build wild roller coasters, Planet Coaster 2 offers a highly engaging and rewarding experience that is sure to thrill. Frostpunk 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to Frostpunk, an award-winning city-building survival game by 11-bit studios. Set in a post-apocalyptic frozen wasteland where human survival teeters on the edge of extinction, Frostpunk 2 builds on the core mechanics of its predecessor, but expands in scope, complexity, and narrative depth. At its heart, Frostpunk 2 remains a city management game where the player takes on the role of a leader, tasked with ensuring the survival of a society in the throes of a never-ending winter. However, while the first game centered around coal as the main energy source, the sequel shifts focus to oil. This change is not merely thematic, but drives much of the game's new dynamics, especially in terms of political, economic, and social tensions. As resources grow scarcer and societal demands become more complex, the player faces moral and ethical dilemmas that shape the very fabric of their society. One of Frostpunk 2's standout features is the enhancement of its decision-making system. Where the original game was lauded for its tough choices, whether to prioritize children's education or send them to work, to embrace authoritarian control or promote democracy, Frostpunk 2 pushes these decisions further. The sequel adds layers of political factions, each with competing interests. The player must balance the demands of various groups, such as the industrialists who push for aggressive resource extraction and the environmentalists who warn of the long-term consequences of unrestrained exploitation. The challenge is to maintain societal cohesion while navigating these diverging interests. The game also expands its world-building significantly. The larger map and more detailed city design allow for greater freedom in how you expand and manage your settlement. This time around, you're not confined to the same singular central heating core. Instead, you manage multiple zones and infrastructure elements, including oil refineries, exploration outposts, and more. This increased scale introduces new logistical challenges, forcing players to think not only about the immediate needs of their people, but also about long-term survival strategies, such as resource sustainability and technological innovation. Narratively, Frostpunk 2 weaves a more intricate story than its predecessor. The inclusion of various factions and more nuanced social dynamics enriches the plot, allowing players to shape the trajectory of their society in more meaningful ways. The tension between progress and human cost is ever present, with the player often forced to make decisions that carry significant consequences, not just for survival, but for the ethical and moral fabric of their city. This makes the game feel like a high-stakes social experiment as much as a city simulator. In terms of replayability, Frostpunk 2 shines. The branching narratives, coupled with the multitude of strategic approaches you can take, ensure that no two playthroughs will be exactly the same. Whether you focus on technological advancements, political maneuvering, or aggressive resource extraction, each decision will have far-reaching consequences, encouraging experimentation and multiple runs. In conclusion, Frostpunk 2 is an ambitious follow-up to a groundbreaking game. It elevates the survival city-building genre with its intricate decision-making, expanded world-building, and deep narrative complexity. While it maintains the core tension between survival and societal breakdown that made the original so compelling, it adds new layers that promise to make it a rich and immersive experience for both fans of the first game and newcomers alike. If you enjoy challenging games that blend strategic thinking with moral dilemmas, Frostpunk 2 is set to be a standout title in the genre.